Yes, yes. Hello, boys. Welcome to the match preparation video for tomorrow's fixture between the Gap and Grange Thistle to be played at Lantham Park. A couple of points. Home ground. We have to make a statement in this fixture. Under no circumstances can we treat this team lightly. Their position on the ladder and their results to date count for nothing every time the whistle goes. They have got players in this team who can hurt you, so you need to be vigilant. You need to give them nothing. We need to get in there and respect the opposition and give them nothing. Do not underestimate them. So, moving on to the preparation for this game, the key points are going to remain the same as the previous match, but we're going to tweak them somewhat. I expect that we will be in a position where we can play periods of time in their half, which leaves them playing out either from goal kicks or trying to play it out and through us. That being the case, I plan to adopt our aggressive man-to-man press up front early on. If they make the adjustment and decide to kick over it, that's fine. We just drop the 10 back. We can talk more about that once we get into the video aspect. So I've got this. This is from the first time we played them. No, that's their keeper. I don't know whether that's their regular keeper or whether on the day that we played them it was someone else. But you can see we're lined off. So we'll play it as it goes through. Now, in this instance, he's going to try to kick out. My suspicion is that they're probably going to do that. Um, so what we will be trying to do, you can see that they've got, we'll have one, two, three, and obviously four. We'd have someone picking up this guy, and obviously we've got someone here. So that's how we're going to want to line up. If they decide to, now that's if they try to play out, which they may or may not do. We'll have to wait and see. So what it means is if they try to play out, we're going to be man to man with them and try to force the ball. Now, if they try to kick out, as they have done in this case, what we've got to remember is that that's going to create this situation where we will have our back four in position and they will very likely have a free player in the middle of the pitch. So the defensive midfielder is going to have to make sure they pick up this chap, or what you're also going to find is they've got their big striker and he will drop. Okay, he will drop. So we need to win this ball in the middle. So the defensive midfielder, you can see here, we've got Riley, Max, nine. I don't know. Is that Danny? Anyway, so we need to make sure that we win this ball. I mean, in reality, if we're in this situation, as soon as their keeper demonstrates that he's going to try to kick over, we drop and fill the middle of the pitch. Because what we can't have is them win the ball there or flick it on and create a transitional moment, which allows them. See, here you go. So their striker's dropped in for this. Issue we have here is no one's on him. Okay, I think he's Isaac's man. Isaac started backpedaling. If he's there, you just need to be on him. So you need to be pressuring the ball, and then the other centre back obviously drops in behind. We've got all the numbers there, but by allowing him to come forward, win the ball, and we're lucky in that situation because obviously they've got a player who probably wasn't really going to win that one-on-one duel with Zach. If we go forward to 23-38, this is a better example um, of winning the ball in those situations. So I'll go back to 34. I think this is similar. Yeah, okay, another goal kick. So I think they may well do this. And if they do that, that's fine. We've just got to make sure that we win the ball. And then we're on the attack, and we're right on the attack because you can look, their centre backs are way back here. So it means everybody's on side. And if we win the ball, we can very quickly play through the middle. So if we go to here, you can look at this configuration. Um, their goalkeepers here, their centre backs. Their centre backs are well back, which means everybody's on side. Nathan's in the middle of the pitch, Mayel's here. So if we can win the ball, they're kicking for, if we can win the ball in here, Ollie's there, then we can very quickly, as we know, in the first 3 to 4 seconds, we try to find a route to goal. If not, then we simply try to regather, regroup, and attack again. You can look even up on the radar. What they do on these goal kicks is they spread it and they try to make the field as big as possible to create the opportunity for their bigger bodies. And I'm told they've got a bigger midfielder who we haven't seen. It will be imperative that we shut him down. We also need to shut down their striker who plays up front a lot. Once again, so there we go. This boy, he's dropping in. Don't need to foul him. You just need to make it very difficult for him. Now, we win that ball. Now, in this situation, what's imperative is we don't let him turn because if he turns, he's going to kick. He's going to try to kick long. So we win the ball, and now Benji's got the ball. We're direct. Okay, so in this instance, we've got our 3 to 4 seconds where we try to attack and get back at them, or we recycle and build up. We'll just let it roll through. Finds Mael. Yeah, probably not really the attacking option we were looking for, but you get the idea. So one other thing I wanted to highlight is something we weren't doing a lot of against Ipswich. We had a lot of possession. We had a lot of time on the ball. One thing I didn't think that we did particularly well was we didn't find the width. So I've got this here marked as, okay, so we inbound the ball. 54 seconds. Okay. That's not a good example. And then here, so now in this situation, what we've done is we're quite narrow, but we open up the pitch. So we've got right back, Isaac, we've got Luke over here. So what we do is we open up the pitch. So Luke's going to be dropping, Zach's going to be dropping into here so that we can create width and then either play around them or create space in the middle for passes back into our midfielders to find their way to goal. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. So, um, transitional moments, particularly winning the ball out of possession. One of our keys is going to be, can we force transitional moments in their own half, okay, with our press, or winning it in the midfield by forcing them to boot long and then rapidly counter and score, hopefully. Um, build up. Now, look, there's some other bits and pieces this is against Ipswich. There's a couple of pieces now, which these are from the game that we played against Ipswich. So obviously I wasn't there. But if we go 7:45, some of the best football we played at the start of this game, boys. It was really quite impressive. Okay, so we talk about the lines a lot. You can start to see these lines start to form up in Ipswich's case. This is their defensive line, this is their midfield line, this is their forward line. So what that presents is all sorts of opportunities for us if we can find ourselves in between these lines because we can find time, space, and ways to play through them. So if we let it roll through, Will on the ball, finds Zach. Zach plays forward, plays back once again. Will's in between the lines. We've got players who we can look to pass to. We've got two of them here in between the lines. Will comes back in and finds Ollie. So once again, here we've got Ollie finding position in between the lines because if you have a look, these are their lines. Okay, so this is really good, and it's easy to advance the ball. It makes it easy to find space, which makes it easy to win games of football. We'll now go forward to 18-18, which is another example of this. Like I said, we really started the game really, really well. We're really starting to get our head around that, playing the ball between the lines. So I was really happy watching that. Okay, so once again, now Danny is starting to drop in a lot, which is really helpful. Back line, middle line, forward line. They're basically playing a 4-3-3. Not uncommon. Once again, we've got players taking up positions in between the lines, ready to receive the ball. Now, Danny goes all the way out the back. Now, Luke, notice Luke. Luke's making a movement in this direction, so he's trying to open up the pitch with that run. And Zachy finds him. One thing I did want to point out there, ball speed. We need more ball speed. If that ball gets to Luke faster, so you can see Luke's waiting on the ball, which gives the cover time to come across. We need to elevate our ball speed, move the ball faster. It creates more opportunities, and allows us to exploit them more rapidly. Now, lastly, I wanted to compare well, lastly in this instance, I wanted to compare two moments with how we use Mael. Now, 12:45. All right, now. Okay. So, boom. Hang on, what's going? 12. Okay, so now in this situation, this is not a good way to use Mael. All right. You're turning it into a foot race. And the simple fact of the matter is, while Mayal has lots of impressive attributes, he's not outrunning all of these defenders from that position because he's just not that fast. Very good on the ball, very good on a dead ball, but he's not going to outstrip that. And it may be that we've got similar situations with other players. Maybe we're in a game where Mayal does have an enormous pace advantage. But this, you're asking us to sprint 70 meters. It's a long, long distance. So the better pass that I would prefer to see in this instance would be to go to Mayel, maybe even pass out here to Luke. If you can see Luke's run, because Luke can then make the run in, and then Mayel could continue his run, and then we're getting Mail closer to the game where a short sprint is going to allow him to puncture the line. Okay, so let's think about finding the right pass rather than just banging it long. Because if we have a look at how this passes, it's actually a really good pass. It's just the wrong pass because Mail doesn't have the speed to get there and win that ball. And it could just as easily be the same if we were trying to play it through for Danny or Nathan, or anyone else in the side who doesn't have the pace to get onto that. That's where we find space. You can still see Luke's got truckloads of space out here that he could exploit. Luke does have lots of pace to get up and down that flank. What I'm highlighting now, this is a better option. And what I'm going to try to do is compare why it's a better option than that instance, because that's coming out. We're in our own half, probably 15, 20. Okay. So in this instance, now notice in this instance, things are different. And the reason things are different is A, because Mayal's got his player, but he's on halfway. Okay. So it's a good 30 meters further down the pitch than it was last time. The other difference is Mayal has lots of other players who he can look to build off. So he's got through there, but we've got other players coming through. So he's not going to be as isolated. In the previous one, even if he got through and won the ball, he's got two choices. Either out sprint everybody, or you're going to be swamped by defenders. So this is a much better way to use. In this case, Mayal, defender misses it, and you can see in this case it's a shorter run and he can get through. Alas, he was offside, but that happens. The point of the story is it's a better pass. It's more what we're looking for. So that covers off in possession build up, out of position manage those transitional moments. This is a case where I just want to, if we get the opportunity, and I'm not convinced that we will, but we will start expecting that we can do this. My suspicion is that they're going to try to kick long, but if they don't, our default position will be that we're going to want to try to have our aggressive press and try to make them play through us. So 62-17. We'll obviously talk about this game more when we get to the game tomorrow. This is second half against Coomera. We adopted a more aggressive press. So actually, I'll make it a bigger screen. So Coomera, they're right back. I'd prefer you to be a little bit further back in that instance, Mayal. So they've got their defensive midfielder here. So when we line up in this position, remember we're having our four across the top, marking them player for player. We're marking their defensive midfielder, and we're going to mark their number 8. That will leave them with a spare man higher up the pitch. But the thing is, because if they're going to kick long, we're going to have time to try to get that. And if we watch how this unfolds, and we've got to be mindful because at this point in time, everyone's thinking he's going long, and he does, and that's what can happen. So we've got to make sure we don't get caught. As it turns out, we've got plenty of people coming back. Maxi's there. Fine, Zach. Happy days. So they can do that they can do that all day long because I think we can manage those situations. If we go to 77-26, this is exactly what we're trying to create. We're trying to create opportunities where we get a press win. Okay, so keeper's got the ball at his feet. Notice the difference here. We're gone man for man. Okay, so we've got striker. Number 10 has dropped up. Make that really small. We're marked here. We're marked here. You can't see it, but we're marked over on the other side. Keeper decides to Keeper decides to try to play out from his feet. What he's trying to do is pick this number 13, but he doesn't find him. Benji wins the ball, turns it into Francis. Um, Unfortunately, Francis needed to kick it straight into the goalkeeper. But the point of the story is we created that opportunity. Last thing I wanted to put in, though, was if we're doing this aggressive press, you got to commit. All right. If we're going to go this man for man up high, you've got to commit, and everyone at the back has got to make sure that they win the ball if it doesn't go the way we want. So this is an example. The 10 has to stay high. All right. So if we're doing this, and this is where we get a little bit sort of mixed up because this guy's got heaps of space. So in this situation, what we have to have, centre back there, we have to have there. The 10 moves here, or the other way, depends. And then the 8 moves up to take this guy. Because if not, they've got heaps of space and they manage to. And now they go back around. So Benji was the 10 in this instance. He needed to hold his position here and then drop in. That needs to be the job of the 8 taking that guy. And then the defensive midfield is probably going to end up with 2. Okay. We'll talk more about this on game day. But what it means is it allows them to play out. And now they've got a heap of time and space, which they use. And the press breaks down. All right, then. So that pretty much covers off all the tactical stuff we wanted to talk about today, boys. It's really just a question now of discussing the starting lineup. Now, the starting lineup, I believe this is an unchanged lineup from the Ipswich game. Um, we're not, as I said in my first comments, we're not going to take these guys lightly. So we get out there and we set about winning the game, the same as any other team, and then we can see where we go from there. All right. So on the bench, we have Major, Luca, Hayden, Benji, and Luke Payne. On the pitch, we've got Danny starting at striker, Riley starting in at number 10. We've got Mayal over on the left and Will over on the right. Francis, box to box as our number 8, with Ollie slotting in at number 6. We are rock solid when we have Zach and Max at centre back. So we're starting with that, and we've got Luke Williams on the left-hand side as well, and Zach Millie, who's been playing playing the house down at right back. So I'm very comfortable that that's a very strong lineup. We've got Nathan, who's recovering from injury, and Isaac, who's now recovered from injury, but we're just building up his fitness before we throw him into the game per se. So that's the starting lineup. Trev's already sent out the timings. There are match preparations, which we'll revise. So essentially, we want to try to force them to come out from their own half, either playing the ball or trying to boot out long, and then we trap them there and create transitional moments to score. I'll see you tomorrow, boys. Bring your game faces and let's put on a show at home.